Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
And we begin here at 5 with worries about the weather. Storms moving through right now on Exact Track 4D radar.
Here we go again. Take a live look outside from our downtown sky cam. Look how gray that is. At least we're getting a break from the extreme heat. Still warm though, but just like yesterday, there's a lot going on when it comes to the weather. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Ty Steele.
And I'm Kimberly Gill. Let's get right over to forewarned meteorologist Brian Sherman. He's in for Kim Adams tonight. Brian.
Hey there, Kimberly and Ty. I feel like we're a broken record. Heat and humidity, showers and thunderstorms, some of those producing some heavy rainfall as we've worked throughout the past hour to hour and a half, especially over Wayne County and Washtenaw County, where the National Weather Service has now put out a flood advisory for portions of central and western Wayne County and central Washtenaw County, Ann Arbor from over to Pittsfield, Canton, down to Belleville, and over toward Inkster and Taylor until 6:15 p.m. We may be seeing some ponding on roads that may be causing some issues over the next hour to hour and a half, so do keep an eye on things if you are going to be traveling out over the next little bit. Outside of that, we are just seeing some garden variety showers and thunderstorms. Novi all the way down to a few popping up over Adrian, and I think this trend of showers and thunderstorms continues not only tonight but through the next few days as well. Tower cam over downtown Detroit, cloud cover sticking with us after a little bit of sunshine today. 72 degrees here in Detroit, but still feeling very muggy with all the moisture we've got outside. A few of those thunderstorms developing north of that frontal boundary, which has been the focal point for the storms the past couple days. So we'll keep the chance of a few storms in through about 7 to 8 o'clock tonight for some of us. Otherwise, we'll go partly cloudy into the overnight tonight. Temperatures dropping to right around 70 by the time we get to 2 in the morning, into the 60s as you're heading out the door tomorrow morning. We could do the whole severe weather dance once again tomorrow. I'll break down more about that and more heat and humidity on the way. Your full forewarned forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Brian, you've got us covered. Thank you. Our other top story tonight, police in Van Buren Township have given the all clear after a potential active shooter situation in the middle of a neighborhood. This is right where it happened, at a home near Bog Road.
That's right. It's not too far from the intersection of West Huron River Drive and Rossonville Road there. When we heard about it, we immediately got Sky 4 up into the air and on the scene. Pamela Osborne is there live on the ground for us tonight. Pamela, I guess the big question is anybody hurt?
No, and that is the good thing in all of this. Neighbors tell us the man who lives here used to be neighborly, used to be friendly, but they say lately he's been troubled. And today that trouble resulted in some tense moments for this entire community.
They had 10 police cars, they had SWAT, and apparently he finally gave up and they took him into custody.
Beth Smith was sitting on her porch 2 doors down and saw what happened before police from multiple departments came rushing in.
The first thing I saw was the 3 little kids riding their bikes. I hear it, 3 pop, pop, pops. I thought it was firecrackers. And next thing I see, they're riding their bikes back down that way, and he gets in his car and goes down about 5 houses and sits there.
Her neighbor, believed to be in his 40s, turned around after a few minutes and went back home. That's when she heard more gunshots and says those children went to another neighbor's house for help. They called Van Buren Township police.
Police came and they said everybody needs to be inside because he was actively shooting, and he was shooting in this direction.
Residents were told to shelter in place. Road closures were put in effect. Sky 4 captured the scene from above. Police say the suspect, who was still shooting a shotgun and a handgun when they arrived, gave himself up after an hour.
The suspect is in custody. There are some concerns with some weapons violations, as well as just the state that he was in at the time.
It's a shame that this guy has problems, and thank God no one got hurt.
And he was taken into custody on those weapons violations. Police and neighbors believe that he had been drinking at the time. But again, everyone is okay here tonight. Reporting live in Van Buren Township, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
Certainly is the good news in all of this. Pamela, thank you. Some Detroiters were shocked today when they turned on the faucet.
Check this out. Yeah, not good. This is what Detroit neighbors are seeing when they try to pour a glass of water, anything but appetizing. Detroit Water and Sewerage says this is because of a system upgrade at the water treatment plant on East Jefferson. It supplies water to people living in downtown and parts of Detroit's Lower East Side. We're told, believe it or not, the water is safe to wash it. I don't know if you want to do that, but you should definitely not drink it. Field crews are on the ground right now working to resolve the issue. If your water looks like this, call Detroit Water and Sewerage, and they will come out and flush it out for you.
And tonight we're working to get answers for the tens of thousands of drivers who got stuck Tuesday in hours of traffic on I-75 after it rained.
Yeah, that flooding happened right around 7 Mile after just a relatively small amount of rain. Will Jones is taking those questions to MDOT.
Despite the lack of significant rainfall yesterday, a stretch of I-75 experienced unexpected flooding. We reached out to MDOT for an on-camera interview about what went wrong. An MDOT spokesperson told me over the phone that the flooding was caused by a power outage at a pumping station. They quickly brought in a generator to restore operations and clear out the water. Unfortunately, this incident resulted in both the southbound and northbound lanes of I-75 between 7 and 9 Mile roads being closed for several hours, impacting the evening commute. So what steps are being taken to prevent this from happening again? MDOT is actively working on installing backup generators. While some pumping stations already have generators, MDOT is planning to install about 80 more in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties. Right now, MDOT does not know when this work will be completed. Reporting along I-75 near 7 Mile, Will Jones, Local 4.
What a traffic mess it created yesterday, even parts of today. Compounding this issue, that stretch of I-75 serves as the detour around the I-696 construction zone. That means it's seeing even more traffic than usual.
Now to Oakland County. A former teacher there is facing 3 counts of third-degree criminal sexual conduct. 26-year-old Jocelyn San Roman, who worked at Oakside Prep Academy in Waterford Township, is accused of having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student. That incident came to light after she allegedly confided in another teacher who then reported it to police. If convicted, San Roman could face up to 15 years in prison.
Now we go to live pictures from the White House in Washington, D.C. President Trump is on his way back there right now after attending the NATO summit in the Netherlands. During that summit, the president declared a significant victory after bombing Iran's nuclear program. But as NBC's Monica Alba shows us, some Democrats are questioning the success of the mission.
As the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran holds, President Trump still celebrating a win and praising U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities.
It was very successful. It was called obliteration.
And claiming an end to what he calls a 12-day war. Speaking today at the NATO summit, the president says his team could discuss next steps with Iranian officials.
We're going to talk to them next week with Iran. We may sign an agreement. I don't know.
But questions remain on whether the airstrikes were as successful as the administration says. An initial assessment by the Defense Intelligence Agency concludes that Iran's enrichment programs were only set back by months. That, according to 3 sources. The president, pressed by NBC News, pushed back hard, saying the report isn't final.
The report said what it said, and it was fine. It was severe, they think, but they had no idea. They shouldn't have issued a report until they did.
The president also questioned on possible intelligence on whether the Iranians had moved enriched uranium prior to the strikes.
We think we hit them so hard and so fast they didn't get to move. And if you knew about that material, it's very hard and very dangerous to move.
Some lawmakers have seen the report and want more answers.
Do we know whether the uranium was there? Do we know whether the centrifuges were there? What is the state of those facilities? What is the timeline in which Iran could try to break out and build a bomb? We have a lot of serious questions that demand serious answers.
Senators are scheduled to get their briefing on the weekend airstrikes tomorrow. That had originally been set for yesterday, but it was postponed until after Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth returned from the NATO summit. Monica Alba, NBC News, Washington.
And meantime, President Trump says the U.S. and Iran will talk next week about a path forward.
All right, calling all Swifties. Next time the pop star visits Michigan, you might have an easier time getting tickets. That's because the Michigan House passed 2 bills known as the Taylor Swift bills, designed to regulate ticket sales and crack down on ticket purchasing bots. So these bills were introduced after Taylor Swift's Eras tour experienced widespread bot usage that inflated ticket prices on secondary markets. The legislation gives Michigan's Attorney General the power to investigate bot abuse and impose fines.
Hopefully it helps.